Hello lovers, welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast hosted by myself, Lauren Amy. This is for those who are ready to take up space, who are living a soft life loudly and are ready to savor the sweetness in each moment. Here we're going to embrace transformation, the beauty of the in-between and the magic of becoming. So pull up a seat and listen in because life is delicious and it's about goddamn time we eat it up. Hello stunners, happy Wellness Wednesday. Welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast. I hope everyone's doing well. This is a super special episode as it's the 52nd episode, meaning for 52 weeks now, I have been putting out a weekly episode. Obviously we took a little break over Christmas, but it's been an entire year. It's been an entire year since I took on the podcast and I want to celebrate, okay? Because I have committed to the cause. I've been doing it for the plot. And this little project of mine is just like, I'm just so proud of that I kept going with it, you know, because I could so easily stop at any moment. And to be fair, like the beautiful thing is the fact that it is my podcast and even with business things, like I can stop at any moment. If I decide that this doesn't serve, I can decide to put a pin in it and never return to it again. But obviously I'm a stubborn fuck, so here she is each week. But yeah, thank you so much guys for supporting the pod over the past year. And I think I mentioned last week, you know, taking the pod on as a solo adventure was terrifying. Throw it back to March last year, I was actually, like, behind the scenes, incredibly triggered. I was feeling incredibly vulnerable, and I decided that in that time, whilst feeling triggered, whilst feeling incredibly emotionally dysregulated and my nervous system in full fight, flight, freeze, I decided to launch a podcast and my Patreon page. Why? I don't know. I think maybe like things were feeling very chaotic. So in launching something, it meant I had some sort of control over things. It meant I was able to say like, yes, things are chaotic right now. Certain things aren't going my way right now, but I'm going to continue to show up. I'm going to continue to do the things that I know I want to do, that I know I've been thinking about for so long, and I'm just going to do it. And it's been an entire year, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. And I suppose to give a little bit of context, I did put this on my story last week when I hinted that there was going to be a birthday celebration episode last year. When things were feeling so chaotic, your gal was going through a situationship breakup. And if you've been listening to the podcast, you know of that situationship breakup because I did an episode about it. Because this is what I mean. She's committed to the cause. She's doing it for the plot. Okay. So I bring the calm in the yoga. I bring somewhat chaos everywhere else. So, like I said, thank you so much for listening. And in this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a little throwback to past episodes, to episodes that I know you guys have loved, and even some of my favorite episodes as well. And yes, I will be throwing it back to that situationship and ex encounters episode, because that was probably the podcast that was the episode that I think the response stunned me the most. I went to a party, my friend's birthday party, and one of the girls came running up to me and was like, "Lauren, I need to know more." And I was like, "Oh god damn." And I think it was the first moment I was like, okay, people are actually listening to this, because for so many weeks I was just recording an episode and I'd just be whacking it out on Spotify and just seeing where it lands, had no idea. And then it finally dawned on me like, oh, these random stories that I'm sharing, these hopeful little bits of insight and inspiration that I'm sharing, just like random thoughts in my head, they are landing and people are listening to them. People are taking it in. And that was the first moment, even though it was a somewhat mad episode. I think I think I lost my shit a little bit at that point. But yeah, that was the first moment where I was like, oh, people are listening. Okay, and to be fair, I still have moments, by the way, if you hear like a squeak in the background, oh, that was like perfect timing. Yeah, if you hear a little squeak, I'm sat in the office, which is unusual for me. Usually I record in my living room, but because I'm not actually filming this episode, yeah, I'm sat in the office. So if you hear a little squeak, it's my office desk chair, which I really need to replace. But anyway, back to the point. But yeah, so this week's episode is going to be a little throwback, okay? And before we get into anything, I firstly want to ask you guys a little favor, maybe as a little birthday present to me, is to make sure you're following the podcast on wherever you're listening, okay? Follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even Amazon Music. Please make sure you are following, subscribing to the podcast, engage on social media as well, because it just helps me out a little bit. I'm not associated with any kind of network. I've not got any kind of ads running. This is just pure organic growth that I'm chasing, I'm hoping for. I was listening to a podcast episode earlier today, and it was actually really helpful because it was two girls that have launched their own podcast and actually built their own network, okay? And I was like, wow, how have they done this? And I realized that I have been winging this the entire time. No one told me how to establish a podcast. No one told me what I needed to do, the steps I needed to take. I have been winging it this entire time. And then this morning, on the day that I happened to be recording this birthday throwback episode, is the time that I'm like, oh, I wonder how other people have done it. Is the only moment where I think like, oh, I wonder if anyone has shared their like top tips and their journey with it. That's the only moment I actually decided to I don't know, investigate a little bit further. For an entire year, I have just been recording, editing, scheduling, and repeat. And just seeing what happens, seeing where things land. And who knows where this podcast is going to go? Like, even I don't know. Sometimes I think, like, what is my actual aim here? What is my reason? What is my purpose? What is my why? Why am I continuing to show up in this way? And there's many reasons. I think for the past few weeks or even few months now, this podcast became like a companion to our in-person practices and even the online practices on Patreon, where I discuss the theme a little bit more. But I suppose right now, what I'm feeling right now is continuing to come back to the idea of letting myself be seen, letting myself take up space, and therefore encouraging others to be seen, encouraging others to take up space. For so long, I put this idea off. For so long, I saw it as this real scary thing, you know, feeling somewhat vulnerable and somewhat exposed because it's just me talking and maybe it seems a bit cringy. But you just have to continuously back yourself. Actually, that's something I was thinking as I was listening to another podcast this morning. You have to back yourself. Every time I step on the yoga mat to teach a class, I have to fully back myself. Every time I press post or schedule on some social media reel or carousel, I have to 100% back myself. Every time I sit down to record a podcast episode or share something on Patreon, I have to be backing myself completely, because otherwise, what's the point? If you're not backing yourself completely, no one else is going to back you either. So in terms of where this podcast is going to go, I think as long as I continue to back myself, other people are going to see it too. Other people are going to see the value in it too. You know what I mean? So you could apply that anywhere. Okay, whatever it is you are hoping to do, whatever it is that you are just trying and just allowing yourself to play, allowing yourself to be a beginner, allowing yourself to learn through trying, just keep backing yourself all the way, because you really never know. And there's a very good chance that I could continue to do this podcast for another year, another 2 years, 5 years, and still it be this small little corner of the podcast realm where there's so many podcasts out there, and I just occupy like a teeny tiny little percentage of it, and that's fine. That's okay, because I still back myself the entire time. And whether this will be picked up by network, I don't know. I didn't even know that was a thing until I listened to that podcast episode this morning. I was vaguely aware of it. And then I was like, how do podcasts actually get successful? I don't know, guys. I have no idea. But we're backing ourselves all the way. And I hope you guys to continue to support. And yes, one of the ways in which you can do that is by making sure you are following, subscribing to the podcast wherever you are listening, because it really does help so much in encouraging the podcast to be seen by others and allowing me to reach a new audience. And anytime I've maybe doubted myself a little bit, you guys have really come through, because you guys will have subscribed. I would have gone up in followers, or you'd like a reel on Instagram. You guys would give me that tiny little nudge that inspires me to keep going and to continue backing myself. So yeah, again, thank you so much. Okay. And again, before I really get into the throwback episodes, I want to do a brief little shout out to an upcoming event that I would just love to have more honeys there. And that is the Bloom and Breathe Day Retreat that I'm running with my bestie Danny on the 30th of May. 10 till 4 at the granary. It is going to be a gorgeous day. Everything I have discussed so far on the podcast, especially the past few months, starting the year soft, not strong, becoming more devoted to ourselves, emerging as who we were always meant to be, emerging as who we were always destined to be, has been leading us up to this full bloom. And that will come together in this day retreat where we reach our full bloom, where we reach our full color, we see things come back to life, we take up space, and we have an entire day dedicated, devoted to ourselves and our own self-care and our own well-being, away from any other kind of distraction or stress or worries or concerns. This is a day devoted to you. So if you have been feeling somewhat inspired by the things I put out on the podcast, the things that you have maybe experienced in practice, either online or in person, then this day retreat is for you. It's mine and Danny's way of, amplifying what it is that we offer and emphasizing the ways in which not just me and her show up, but the ways in which you show up. I know for a fact that you guys work so hard, and I know you spend so much of your time showing up for others. This is an invitation to show up for yourself and see yourself in that full fucking bloom. So do come join us, all right? As I said, it's going to be at the granary, 10 till 4, a gorgeous venue. Hopefully we're going to be practicing yoga outside. We were able to do that last year. And of course, this year, emphasizing the full bloom, we have the gorgeous Lana from the Petal Home joining us, starting the day with a floral workshop. And then you have 2 yoga practices with me, a tension release ritual with Danny, filled with guided self-massage and essential oils, maybe even some hands-on massage as well. And we provide lunch for you. Everything is provided for you. You just need to show up. All you need to do is to head to the link in this description, okay, in this episode description, and sign up to the retreat. That's all you need to do, and then show up on the day, and we will do the rest for you. So I hope you don't mind that little bit of a plug, honeys. Okay, let's go to our throwback episode. So I have picked out a few of fan favorites, a few of my favorites, and I hope you enjoy. And first up, we have a throwback to episode 34, the Prague Pod. This was the podcast episode I recorded out for my birthday on a little solo trip, and I think it's a perfect example of me doing stupid shit for the plot. I hope you enjoy. Your girl took herself to a nudist spa today. Now, when I was looking at saunas and spas in Prague, you have to be kind of careful, because I found one called Sauna Central. However, there is another one called Sauna Club. Now, Sauna Central, legit sauna, what you expect it to be, wellness, okay? Sauna Club is less wellness, more debauchery. It's less wellness and perhaps a little bit more playful. I don't know how else to describe it, but wellness after dark, I guess. I don't know. Now, I'd heard about this in all my Googling, so I was like, okay, I need to make sure I'm booking for Sauna Central and not Sauna Club. And then I happened to see a TikTok on Sauna Central, and the girl was like, guys, be wary, this is a full nudist spa. And I was like, oh God, okay, all right. But it was the only one that I found that I'd kind of liked, and I was like, you know what? I'll just go for it. And to be fair, if you've ever done the White Springs in Glastonbury, that is all naked as well. I did that for summer solstice. So really, done it once, you can do it again. And at least like at the sauna, they at least give you a towel and a sheet to kind of like cover yourself with. At the White Springs, you got nothing. It's literally just you and your birthday suit, as was the case for me today. Just me and my birthday suit. What a better way to celebrate, right? Celebrating the same way I came into this earth. Anyway, found it. Was met by a lovely receptionist who talked me through everything that I needed to know, and was given a sheet and a towel, and was explicitly told nothing else. No swimwear, nothing else whatsoever. Just the sheet, just the towel. And I'm like, okay. Now, there was a bit of confusion in actually figuring out where I needed to go, which ended up me wandering up this set of stairs naked, just wrapped in a sheet, which again you're gonna hear about in the vlog, which was again absolutely hilarious, and I needed to very timidly pop back to reception and be like, where am I supposed to go? Anyway, the receptionist led me to where I was meant to be and introduced me to my male masseur, I don't know. And this man said hello, and I was like, hello. And he proceeded to take me down this small, like, hidden door, down this very suspicious looking corridor, into an even more suspicious looking room. And then quite simply said, okay, lie down with nothing else, with nothing else on you, and I'll give you a couple minutes. And I was like, wait, you want me face down? I had to clarify some details because I didn't want to be wrong, right? I didn't want him to come back in and be like, actually, you've done this wrong, So confirmed that I needed to be lying face down and to use the sheet to cover me, not the towel. Okay, cool, got that sorted. And he was like, I'll give you a few minutes. And I'm like, to be fair, honey, you're going to need like 30 seconds because it's not like I've got any clothing to take off. I'm already naked. I'm already how you need me to be. Anyway, I lie down on this couch and I just mentally prepare for whatever is about to happen, for this man to lay his hands on me. And hopefully it's going to be a nice, pleasant experience. Anyway, he comes back in. I have fortunately done everything right. And he's like, okay, cool. What would you like? And, this is my birthday. And I'm like, I'm going to get a full body massage. I've paid for the hour. Like, I want the entirety of my body to receive a little bit of comforting, nourishing, relaxing touch, please. And I asked him to pay particular attention to my shoulders and my lower back. And he was like, okay, would you like it to be more relaxing or would you want like firm pressure? And I was like, firm pressure. I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, that was a mistake, okay? If you have a male massaging you, always ask for relaxing because my God, I am going to have bruises. It starts very nice. It starts like massaging my neck, my shoulders. I'm like, lovely. Oh, and also he pulls the towel back and he pulls it and I'm like, okay, wow, like half my ass is out. Okay, cool, right, sure. And I remember like having to hold my shit together, like, don't laugh, don't giggle, don't laugh, you're fine, it's okay. Like he's just looking at my ass crack. He can just see it. There's nowhere I can hide. I'm just lying face down. I can see his feet wandering around. And I'm like, hold it together, hold it together. He starts massaging my neck, my shoulders. Lovely. He does work his way down to my lower back, which is what I requested. But he pulls the towel back further. So not only is half my ass out, the entirety of my ass is out. And I'm just like, okay, cool, right, sure, here we go. He starts massaging my glutes and there's one point where he tells me to relax, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but good sir, you I'm like, good sir, I am as naked as the day I entered into this earth. You've got your elbow pressing into my gluteus maximus quite firmly that I'm not sure whether I'm enjoying it or not. And you have the cheek, no pun intended, actually every pun intended, you have the cheek telling me to relax. But also, again, in my head, I'm thinking, do it for the plot, do it for the plot, do it for the podcast, do it for the podcast. So this is all for you guys. I just got naked in front of a stranger and had him press his elbow into my buttocks for the sake of entertainment. Somehow an hour goes by, and then to signify the end of the massage, he leans down and gets real close to my ear, and he's like, "Thank you very much." And I'm like, "Oh, you're welcome. No, thank you very much. Thank you for that delightful service. Thank you for that delightful massage in which I'm not sure if I've just been fondled or abused or what. A win is a win." Went out into the sauna, saw my fair share of boobs, bums, and a lot of willies. Happy birthday, me. You guys, I remember that trip like it was yesterday. And you best believe that I will be doing another birthday episode somewhere else in the world. I will be going on another solo trip. So who knows what adventure that's going to bring me this year. But next up, we are just skipping ahead to 2 weeks later to episode 36. This was where I received an astrological chart reading from the gorgeous Crystal. Now, this is a long clip because I just really wanted to demonstrate how much passion Crystal puts into these readings, and I highly recommend these still, even now. This was probably the most empowered I have ever felt, and you'll also hear me saying it also is the most me I have ever felt. So yeah, give this a listen, and if you're curious about astrological chart readings, head to episode 36 to hear more from the lovely Crystal. Like I said, this episode just changed something in me, I'm pretty sure, and yeah, I highly recommend you should go get your own. So yeah, let's go to hear from Crystal.
Basically, an astrology chart reading is basically showcasing where in the world, in the cosmos, the planets and the asteroids were when you were born. And due to that creates an energy within you. And then basically when, say for instance, people always talk about Mercury retrograde or Mars being in Scorpio, dependent on where the planets are now will affect how it affects your chart and you. So basically the astrology reading gives you an in-depth understanding of who you are, how you move through this world. It can showcase things about your health. It can showcase things about your love life. To give you a little preview, you are the Scorpio of Scorpios, my darling. So there is such a beauty in Scorpio, and it's such a magical, esoteric, deep, transformative sign, and so many people can learn from it. Every single sign has their beauty and has their shadow, but Scorpio, I don't know. I love Scorpio women. I love Scorpio men very much as well. So it's, I'm very drawn to Scorpios. We'll start with your elements because we all have fire, water, air in our chart. And my lovely lady, you are so deep. You are like one of the deepest charts I've had. You are swimming at the depths of the ocean in the Bermuda Triangle. You're swimming.
Again, that makes so much sense because I've always felt so drawn to water, the way in which I move. I'm like all about fluidity. The way I teach it, like, is all about moving fluidly. It makes so much sense to me.
But with all those placements, we call it any more than 3 in one house of a placement. And you have, my darling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 asteroid and planets. The ones that I use anyway. Some people use more asteroids, but you have 7, which is a pretty grand, enormous stellium, which
Wow.
means that basically you are the embodiment of a Scorpio.
I feel like this already, I could like end this now and be like, perfect, happy. Like, don't need to hear anymore. Like I've already been told I've got great intuition and I basically have magical psychic powers. Lovely. I don't need to know anything else.
One thing that's beautiful about Scorpio, their magnetism. They have a natural magnetism, and that's because you have the ability to your ability to see others but not actually let others in until you 100% trust them. But aside from that, you will help anyone, and anyone who you 100% trust, you will literally be loyal to them to a core, and they're like one of the best signs to have as a friend. You are a pioneering and enterprising lady because you're very much into your career. You always have been. You've been very career focused, and what's really interesting is your MC, which is the career kind of asteroid, should we say, some people say asteroid planet, it is in 29th degree, and when it's at the 29th degree, it's the epitome of the highest point you can be in any degree of a chart.
Oh wow.
And not only that, it's the clairvoyant degree. So you've just got like such a great business head. Like, you know how to get things done and strategize things. And you know, it's actually your MC is in the house of fame as well. So you put this together. Yeah. So it basically, you know, it doesn't mean like you're famous, but it can mean that you are in the limelight. You know, maybe if you want to go down that road, great for it. But the thing is, because you've got that clairvoyancy, you know this place. You know this place well. You know how to be there. You know how to sit with it. The beauty in you is the fact that you are pioneering. You're very enterprising, but you have this groundedness to you as well. You're just like so connected to your womb and that energy. And like, I don't like to say specifically feminine because it's so specific nowadays, but like the way I like to see it, and is this water, this sexual energy. And I see that in you, like the way you dance, the way it comes from that, you know, sexual energy is also creative energy. It's the same thing.
100% could not agree with you there. 100%. Like that's,
the most important thing is you are not scared of transformation, and a lot of people are.
Transformation can be scary, but I don't know, I just feel like transformation can be so beautiful. So it's like embracing the fear and just letting it take you anyway, because transformation is like when I talk about heartbreak, that how that can be the most epic portal of transformation there is, and just letting 100%. It fully take you. And what you were saying earlier about, you know, allowing yourself to feel the things in order to move through it, to me that's the only way I know how to move through things, to feel things, you know what I mean, to let myself feel it. So yeah, again, the fact that you're saying that back to me as well, just I mean, you're making me feel really great right now.
Oh, bless you. That was the whole point of this podcast. That was all I was trying to do. No, I'm just reading. I'm literally reading a chart. And yes, of course, when I work as well, I work intuitively, and having met you and feeling your energy. And, you know, like I said, we all have such beauty. And sometimes it's really important to have that affirmed to us, because sometimes we go, okay, I feel like it's right, but I just want a little bit of validation. Not that you're trying to be insecure or craving anything. It's just like, you know what, sometimes you just need that guidance of like, oh, okay, I'm going the right way. And that's what astrology did for me. When I read it, I went, oh, okay, I'm not completely off my rocker in terms of my thoughts, because I do have a lot of up and down placements in mine. I was like, oh, okay, that's why. And that's why that's happened now. And that's why I've had so many different careers. And now I'm on my soul career. And that makes sense.
There we go.
You know? So,
yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So your sun's there, your ascendant's there. Your sun is like how you shine bright. You're a very sexy lady. So remember that. You're super sexy. You're very magnetic. You're gorgeous. And it's not just me saying that. I'm not trying to go on a date with you, by the way. That's the only reason I did this reading. You know?
Wow, this is the most interesting way I've been asked out before. Wow.
Perfect. Well, you know, I like to do things a bit of a way. You know, I like to have knowledge first and then step forward. Yeah.
I think this as I am now is the most me I have ever been, and I do feel like there is a lot to me, and sometimes I think I'm probably too much for a lot of people, and that is fine. That is okay, because, you know, I'm not going to dilute myself again, because you were right in saying that there was a long time for the entirety of my 20s where I was like a muted version of myself, but I didn't realize, I didn't see it until I came out the other side of it. And then when I did come out the other side of it, I had lots of comments being said to me, like, you know, we've got Lauren back. And I was like, that was really hard for me to hear, because I was like, I don't know who I've been, and I don't quite know who I am now yet. And I'm still learning about myself now. So that was a real conflicting thing. Although it's lovely to hear, you know, people saying like, oh, we've got you back.
Some people don't evolve with you, so it's like the tree analogy. Some people will be the roots, they'll stay with you through everything, and others just drift off like leaves. You know, you are going to constantly shapeshift. It's going to be an evolution of self, which you just didn't even realize that that was that possibility.
What an excellent conversation that was. I would happily have Crystal on the podcast every week just so we can continue doing more deep dives. And in that episode, she did go on to say that I would make an excellent sugar baby. And I love that for me. There's no sugar daddies around yet, but you never know. The day is young. But in similar sexy vibes, we're going to go right back to episode 24 now. Life is sexy. And I was just in a real good divine feminine flow at this point. And yeah, I love this podcast episode. I love this chat. So it felt only right to throw it back to this moment. Enjoy. I have this feeling, I have this little tingle, this little tickle, this little spark, if you will, this little ooh kind of feeling. And I know that might sound really, really strange, but I have this feeling that everything is working out with my best intentions at heart, with my best interests at heart. I have this feeling that everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. And I saw a video the other day about just when you have that feeling, just run with it as best as you can, embrace it as best as you can. And the only real way I can describe this feeling is that life is feeling sexy. And I know that might be taking this podcast in a different tangent that you might not have been expecting, or who knows, I might have put it in the episode title, I don't know, but life is feeling sexy, okay? So I want to talk about it. And when I say sexy, what I mean by it is thinking of it in like, life is flirting with you, okay? Life is enticing you, life is teasing you. And it's like the beginning stages of a relationship, right? You know, when you're dating someone and it feels quite exciting and you're both putting equal amounts of effort in, and yeah, it feels like things are kind of slowly falling into place, right? It's that sexiness that I think we can find in our everyday. It's like finding that sexiness for yourself first. What lights you up, okay? What makes you feel sexy, not just physically, but also emotionally, spiritually, energetically? What is driving you forwards, what's giving you that momentum? And I think when you feel sexy within yourself and within your work, with your relationships, with your whatever situational scenario you might be in, I just feel like that is when divine timing is at its most potent, okay? And that natural unfolding, it's like the universe is conspiring with you, for you, in the most beautiful way when life is feeling sexy, delicious. We've all heard, you know, life is delicious, eat it up. It's that favorite phrase of mine that I occasionally like to whack out every now and then. But not only is life delicious, but life is sexy, okay? And I know that's not the case always. I don't want to be like super naive and pretend that life doesn't have its challenges. Yes, we know that, okay? But taking a bog standard Tuesday and making it sexy. How can we do that, Hans? Well, let me tell you. Like, this is probably the most locked in, invested, motivated I have been for myself and my own personal development in a long time. And yes, there's been moments where it's been challenged. Yes, there's been moments where I've been distracted, and that is okay. I think they're little tests every now and then just to, I don't know, test that determination, I guess. But I have these moments where I remind myself of this intention I set at the beginning of this year. I want it to be a real personal development year. And when I remind myself of that intention I set, I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's like a little like, yay, go me, like being my own little cheerleader. Like, okay, we're doing it. We're living it. All right. Let's keep going. And I don't know what it is that's driving me forwards. It's really hard to put my finger on it. But again, this feeling that life is sexy, okay? Life is teasing me. Life is enticing me. So I'm like, okay, cool. And again, it's like that feeling of when you're in the early stages of a relationship and you don't know the outcome, but you're trusting it, you're going with it, you're riding that wave. That's how life is feeling right now. And I feel like I'm in this new relationship with myself. I feel like this is the most love I have shown for myself, the most dedication I have shown for myself ever before. And that to me is the epitome of self-love. We talk about self-love, self-care all the while, but this investment, this dedication, this is self-love right here, right now. That was actually so nice for me myself to listen back to and to remind myself of my own words and my own thoughts and feelings at a particular point, because things are continuously evolving and changing and your mindset kind of shifts over time. So it's nice to actually go back and really remind yourself of what you have moved through and honoring that as it all brought you here to this moment right here, right now. Okay, finally, Hans, we're going to go right the way back even further to episode 9. I'm slightly icking myself out at this one. This is episode 9, situationships and ex encounters. And as I mentioned before, this was the episode where I was like, oh shit, people are listening to my random waffles. And I suppose this one is probably a little bit more embarrassing to listen back to, given like the information I know now. But at the time, we only work with what we know in the moment, right? That's all we can work with, okay? And I highly, highly recommend going back and listening to the episode following this one, episode 10, Feminine Rage. Enjoy my public embarrassment. Okay, before I do anything, I want to order a pizza because your gal needs some carbs. Okay, Deliveroo, Baroni. Do I want truffle fries? Absolutely, I want truffle fries. Do I also want... No, okay, let's not go overboard, Lauren. Truffle chips, pepperoni pizza. There we go, we're not feeding 5,000, just feeding yourself. Place delivery order. Oh, okay, amazing. Pizza has been ordered. Okay. All right, let's kick this off then. So if you are on my close friends on Instagram, and if you're not on my close friends on Instagram, please do not worry. I actually don't really know who's on there, and I probably should be a bit more careful. But I decided to say on my close friends on Instagram that I decided to dip my toe back into the dating scene. At the beginning of the year, I set this intention, like, I'm not going to date at all this year. Like, not at all. But then I fell into a dun 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 situationship. Oh my goodness. Okay, and I have not spoken about this at all. And I have been wanting to bring this to the podcast, but I just wanted to give myself a bit of space from this particular situationship. And literally, when my big relationship came to an end, and I was seeing all this talk about situationships, and I was like, could never be me. It's never going to be. I will never fall into something like that. Dun dun dun. Cut to, it happened. And probably everyone who has been in this situationship, everyone who has been down this, you know exactly what I mean. But I feel like it's a rite of passage. I feel like this is a canon event. I feel like you have this big relationship where you're probably with the person for so many years, and then you naturally fall into something else which feels so intense, and it's just like this. It's just this canon event. It's just this rite of passage. So even though I said in the beginning, I was like, could never be me, it is me. And that is a somewhat bitter pill to swallow, but here we are, okay? Okay, so I decided to tentatively dip my toe back into the dating pool just to see what was going on. So I'm walking to the date, And there's tables outside. My date's already there, so I'm like, okay, he says he's by the front door, and I don't know if that means inside or outside. So I look at all the tables outside, and I look at this particular group of people at this table, and I'm like, the back of that head looks very familiar. And I'm like, surely not, no. Anyway, ignore it, go in to find my date. Find my date, he's inside. So I'm like, oh, it's a lovely day, should we go sit outside? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I start walking outside and I head towards this group of people at this particular table. And I get a bit more of a side profile of the person I think I recognize. And I confirm it is my ex. My situationship, my ex from the guy I dated over the summer, my ex. Good God. Good God. And I grab my guy and I'm like, actually, let's go inside. Let's go upstairs. And he's like, okay. And I'm completely honest with the guy. I'm like, not gonna lie, there's a person I know on that table. And he was like, all right, okay, sure, fine. So I get upstairs and I relax a little bit, but I'm also just like, fuck, did that just happen? What the fuck? No, surely not. Surely this could not be happening to me. Surely I have not gone nearly 2 months for not hearing a word from this person, not seeing him at all. The first date I go on, he is there. What the fuck is that about? Universe, what are you trying to do to me? And I'm like, I believe there's a reason for everything, right? So I'm like, okay, what is the reason? What is the reason? And is the reason to just shake things up a little bit? Is like, what is the purpose here? Anyway, so the date continues and I'm trying for the life of me to hold on to like what is in the present moment, okay? But ultimately, this group of people start coming up the stairs and it's the same group of people. And our table was right by the top of the stairs. They had to walk right past my table and your gal doesn't blend in anymore. She's got vibrant pink hair. It's quite obvious. That is me. That is him. Hello. He sits on a particular side of the table. He has clear view of me. I'm sweating. I'm hot. I'm flustered. And I say to my date, like, you know that table I was trying to avoid? He was like, yeah, they've just come upstairs, haven't they? And I'm like, yes. And he was like, are you all right? And I'm like, I don't know. So I do my best. I hold on for dear life. And that, my friends, is enough embarrassment for one day. If you want to hear more of that story, the link for that episode is in the episode description, as well are the links for all the other eps that I've done a little throwback to. But I hope you enjoyed this throwback episode. It's nice to have a little look back, isn't it? And of course, there's going to be more to come. So thank you for continuing to support the podcast. Thank you for continuing to support me. I will continue to show up as best as I can and continue to bring more magic and mayhem your way. But like I said, make sure you are following, liking, subscribing, all those lovely things. It helps me out more than you know. All right, honeys, I love you. Go thrive, and I'll see you next week. Mwah! Alright, stunners, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. I hope it has left you feeling suitably inspired. And as always, please don't forget to rate and review, like and subscribe, all those lovely things, as not only does this help the podcast grow, but it also helps us to reach more beautiful souls who need to hear these conversations. And of course, come hang out with me over on Instagram and TikTok at LaurenAmyYD and follow the pod at butterflyeffect.pod. You can also dive deeper into yoga, meditations, poetry, and so much more with me over on Patreon. Until next time, keep living a soft life loudly because you know you deserve it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Mwah!